Hello friends, in this session we'll discuss the different methods of measuring the surface finish, old one and the new one, the advanced which generally used in the industry. So let's begin. The method of measuring the surface finish. So there are basically two approaches for the measurement of surface finish. The first approach is by comparison and the second approach is by direct measurement. So this comparison approach, it is, we can say it is old concept or approach. Nowadays no one use this concept, the comparison. Nowadays we use the direct measurement in which we get a numerical value of the surface roughness. The comparative method, it advocates the assessment of surface texture by observation or feel of the surface. So for this purpose we require the experience or the skillful person. Those have the knowledge of surface finish of so and so material or so and so manufacturing process. Only they can do this comparative method analysis. Now the third one is the direct measurement, which enables a numerical value to be assigned to the surface finish. So by doing the calculation of that RA, RQ and the RZ, that is arithmetic mean, root mean square and the 10-point method. So we get directly all these three value once the stylus touches the workpiece surface and then it takes the reading. So nowadays the direct measurement method is very useful and most widely used. So methods of testing. The scratch comparison plates. So there will be a lot of plates with different surface roughness values. Let's say 0.1 micron, 0.5 micron or some range 0.1 to 0.5 micron, 1 to 2 micron. So different plates will be there, and then these plates will be used to compare the machine surface or the workpiece surface for finding the surface finish. So and each machining process requires its own set. If you take the example of turning, so in turning the surface roughness value ranges from, let's say, 0.8 micron to 12 micron. So you should have the set of this 0.8 to 12 micron. So there may be a set of 10 plates, 12 plates, 15 plates. Now it depends upon the machining process. The third one is the optical and mechanical. Nowadays this optical and mechanical are widely being used because of error free measurement, very accurate measurement, and it gives a quick measurement, fraction of second it gives the reading. Surface roughness by measurement. So roughness measurement by the comparison method. The roughness comparison specimens are either flat of a segmented cylindrical pieces having the known roughness value. So these plates, they have the known roughness value. Now this plate they use for the qualitative assessment of surface roughness. So qualitative means accepted or the rejected. Okay, it will not give any number, it will just say the quality of the manufacturing process or the workpiece or the sample machine of a finished product by comparing with steel or some nickel alloy of the known surface roughness. Now they are rigidly supported on base to prevent warping or the distortion during the use. Now this comparison, how to do the comparison? So this comparison can be done by a visual inspection or by a touch inspection. In visual inspection, what we do, both the surfaces, that is product and the specimen surfaces, they are inspected under naked eye. In touch inspection, feel of the surface is experienced by moving nail on the specimen and then product surface. So for this two inspection we required a skillful person, a judgment and experience. Those have this quality, only they can do this type of inspection. Now these two fields are compared to find out the roughness of product. Now the next one is the direct measurement, the stylus system of measurement. You can see a diagram, skid and stylus type of measurement. A skid or shoe which is drawn over the workpiece surface such that it follows the general contour of the surface as accurately as possible, and this skid also provides the datum for the stylus. So the function of this skid is to provide the datum for this stylus. Now this stylus which moves on the surface along with this skid such that the motion of the stylus, which is a vertical in nature, is relative to the skid. So its motion vertically is relative to the skid. So what is the use of this skid? It provides us to capture or to give the reading for only surface roughness independent of surface waviness. That is the main purpose providing the skid. This factor enables the stylus to capture contours of surface roughness independent of the surface waviness. Then there will be an amplifying device will be used for magnification of the stylus movement. Whatever the movement will get, we have to amplify that motion for further analysis or the recording purpose. Okay. Then a recording device is used to produce a trace or record a surface profile. So we will get a profile like this in final output. Okay. And there will be some line and the value RA, 1 micron, RQ, 3 micron, RZ, 2 micron, like that. So we will get direct value and the profile. Then the Tomlinson surface meter. It is one of the favorite surface roughness meter or tester which is widely used. So it is a mechanical optical instrument, a comparative, or we can say a combination of mechanical and optical instrument. It is designed by Dr. Tomlinson of NPL, that is National Physical Laboratory of UK. Now you can see the construction of this Tomlinson. We have a stylus here. This stylus has only the vertical motion. The horizontal motion is restricted by means of this cross roller. Okay, so only we'll have the vertical motion. So here we have the cross rollers and some fixed rollers. Then this stylus will be connected to the body by means of spring to keep it in the tight position. Okay, so for that a tension P will be applied. Then there will be a lift spring here to keep the stylus in its position. Then there is a spring steel arm which is required to transfer whatever the motion this stylus have to the recording unit. At the end of this steel arm will have a diamond tip, and then this diamond tip will move on this smoke glass for recording the trace or the profile. So that is the construction of this Tomlinson surface meter. So this, what is the sensing element here? The sensing element is the stylus, which moves up and down depending upon irregularities of the workpiece surface. The stylus, it is constrained to move only in the vertical direction because of a leaf spring and a coil spring. Here we have a coil spring and here we have a leaf spring. So these two spring constrain it to move in the vertical direction only. The horizontal movement is restricted. Now this tension in the coil spring P, the tension in the coil spring P causes a similar tension in the leaf spring. These two combined forces hold a cross roller in the position. This cross roller in the position between the stylus and a pair of parallel fixed roller. Because the function of this cross roller is to transfer this vertical motion horizontally and then on the glass. A shoe is attached to the body of the instrument to provide the required datum for the measurement of surface roughness. This skid or it is shoe which provide the datum. Then there is a diamond tip at the end of the steel arm. The diamond tip traces the profile of the workpiece on a smoked glass sheet. So that is the complete working of this Thomson surface meter. Now what is the Taylor-Hobson tele-surf? This Taylor-Hobson or tele-surf, it is generally used for ultra precision metrology purpose. Means for measuring the surface roughness in nanometer mostly. You can see the construction, a skid, that is a shoe for the reference or datum, stylus, then the armature, and then this E-shaped stamping, okay, and the coil AB and coil AC. A stylus is attached to an armature which pivots about the center of a piece of an E-shaped stamping. The outer leg of the E-shaped stamping are wound with electrical coils. A predetermined value of alternating current, that is the excitation current, is supplied to the coils. Then this AB and AC, these coils, they form a part of bridge circuit. A skid or shoe provides the datum in order to provide the surface roughness. The measuring head can be traversed in a linear path by an electric motor. So this complete head, it moves in the direction by means of an electric motor, and whatever the peaks and valleys or the surface irregularities, this pivots, okay, this distance decreases or increases, and accordingly we got the profile of the surface on a recording device. As the stylus move up and down due to the surface irregularities, the armature is also displaced. Yes, correct. And then this causes the variation in the air gap and then causes an imbalance in the bridge circuit. Here is a air gap. Okay, if suppose there is a peak here, then this gap will reduce, this gap will increase. If there is some valley, then this gap will increase, this gap will reduce. So accordingly there will be change in the gap, and this air gap, it causes an imbalance in the bridge circuit. So what is the result of this? So the result is that, so the resulting bridge circuit, what is the output we got, that consists of modulation only, and then this is fed to an amplifier which and caused to operate a pen recorder to produce a permanent record. So that is the function of recording device. Wavelength, frequency and cutoff. Now this skid or the shoe, they simplify the surface assessment while using the stylus instrument. However, there is a distortion because of phase relationship between the stylus and the skid. In case A, we have three cases A, B, C. So in first case, case A, the stylus and skid are in phase. You can see here, both are in phase. Therefore, the roughness, the primary texture, will be relatively undistorted. Now in second case B, these two are in out of phase. In this situation, the waviness superimposes in the roughness reading, and that is misleading. Whereas in case C, the stylus and skid are again out of phase, resulting in unrealistic interpretation of roughness value. Now we will see the contact type of surface roughness and the profile measuring instrument. You can see here there is one diagram. In this diagram we have the contact type of surface roughness measuring system. Measuring object, which is in the red color, detector, the stylus and the drawing unit and the complete body and the processor. So in this contact type of surface roughness tester, the stylus tip makes a direct contact with the surface of a sample. So here we don't have any datum or the skid. The detector tip is equipped with a stylus which traces the surface of the sample. So this stylus, it move forward and then it come backward, and this distance generally it is 0.8 mm generally. So the surface of the sample target, you can see the, and the displacement of this stylus is in vertical direction only, in the direction, and that vertical motion is detected by this detector, and that motion or that data, it is fed to the processor for processing, and then at the end this processor shows the or transfer the data to the recorder for showing the result. The vertical motion of the stylus is electrically detected. The vertical motion of the stylus is electrically detected. The electrical signals go through an amplification and then digital conversion process to be recorded. Now to precisely measure and delicate shapes and the roughness with a contact type of surface roughness tester, the radius of stylus tip must be as small as possible with the low contact pressure. So we have the different types of surface roughness stylus radius. You can see here the tip radius 2 micron, 5 micron, 10 micron, 0.08 mm, that is 80 micron, 200 micron, 390 micron. So these are all the tip radius depending upon the application. So these styluses are made up of sapphire or the diamond, and their tip radius is usually about 10 micron. A conical shape with a ballpoint tip is considered ideal for this stylus. So remember the conical shape, okay, then their radius and the operation. So you can see here the shape of the stylus tip in the diagram. The shape is like that, like this, and it is in the micron, and the included angle is around 60° or 90°, depends upon the cone taper angle depending upon the application. So that is the contact type of surface roughness tester. What are the advantages of this surface roughness tester contact type? It gives us a clear wave profile, then it is capable of long distance measurement. That are the advantages. The disadvantages is the stylus is subjected to wear, so after few years of use there might be some error in the measurement, so we have to continuously calibrate it and check it. The measuring pressure can cause scratches on the sample surface, so that is main disadvantage. Again, this has an inability to measure the viscous sample. Viscous sample cannot be measured with the contact type of measurement. Then the measurement limited by radius of stylus tip. Measurement takes time. Now the next is difficulty in positioning and identification of subtle measuring point. And then the last one is it requires sample cutting, processing for tracing by the detector. So these have the lot of disadvantages over advantage. Now the next, contact type surface roughness and profile measuring instrument. So we'll see when there is a wear of the stylus, what will happen or how the effect of this wear on the profile. So before wear, you can see here there is a stylus which has a conical type of or a point type of end. So in sample we'll get the actual profile, but now few years of use, when the stylus subjected to wear, the stylus end, the pointer or the sharp corner is blunt, and now you can see the profile. We got a curved profile like this. So whatever the roughness value we got, there will be some differences. That's why you have to calibrate it time to time. Stylus wear. Now the stylus must be polished because it will wear down over the time. The mode of wear varies, making the stylus flat or rounded depending on the material and the shape of the measurement target object. Different stylus shapes will naturally generate a different wave profiles. Now one method for determining the stylus wear is to use a commercially available wear inspection test piece. Wear is determined by comparing the data profile, that is the groove width, of the test piece before and after the wear of stylus. So that is the one method of finding the stylus wear. Now sometimes there are some marking caused by the measuring pressure which is not acceptable in some cases. So you can see here one sample is machined and then the surface roughness is checked. Okay, so this is the enlarged view of the machine sample. Now you can see this marking in horizontal direction. So this marking is due to the surface roughness. Okay, so it should not be happened in the industry. Marking on the sample from measuring pressure. Styluses are made up of sapphire and the diamond. We know the diamond is the hardest material available in the world, so it can scratch on the surface, especially when the repeating parallel adjustment. It is easy for the stylus to scratch the sample during rapid feed, so that should not happen. There should not be any scratches. Grooves narrower than the radius of the stylus tip cannot be measured. So this one is the disadvantage of this contact time. You can see here this groove is larger than the stylus radius, so it's okay. But if the groove is not up to the wider or less wider than the stylus radius, then we cannot measure the distance or the depth of these values, and then we'll got inaccurate reading. The tip of the stylus is spherical in nature. The stylus tip cannot trace the shape of properly if the width of groove, scratch, etc. is narrower than the radius of stylus tip. Now we'll see some advanced methods of measuring the surface roughness. The one method is atomic force microscopy. So this atomic force microscopy, this process is nowadays is being used for very advanced materials. So this AFM, that is the short form of this atomic force microscope. Atomic force microscope measures the asperity of a sample using the atomic forces between the tip and the sample. To perform the measurement, the user moves the cantilever, which is equipped with a sharp tip, or we can say the probe, at its end. Here you can see this one is the probe, into the proximity of sample surface to a distance of several nanometer. This stage is required to place the sample, and this one is all the cantilever. So this probe or tip is connected to this cantilever. Now in order to maintain a constant force between the tip and the sample or the workpiece, a constant deflection of the cantilever, the atomic force microscope gives feedback to a piezo scanner while scanning. The displacement provided as a feedback to the piezo scanner is measured to obtain the z-axial displacement, which is nothing but the surface structure. So in this case we'll get a 3D type of surface roughness structure and a numerical value also. What is the advantage? It gives a high resolution in the nanometer, minimum distance between resolvable points. It can do a 3D measurement with a super high magnification. Collected data can be processed. So observation in atmospheric condition is possible, not needing the pre-treatment of samples. Capable of analyzing physical properties, that is electric property, magnetic property, friction, viscoelasticity, etc. Now what is the disadvantage? Expensive. Incapable of low magnification measurement. Sample with significant asperity, level difference greater than a few micron cannot be measured. So mainly this AFM is generally used for nanometer level or for few micron only. Now difficulties in positioning the due to need to arrow down the field of view analysis for each sample takes time. So it is time consuming. Again, it has inability to measure a large sample due to need for pre-treatment and processing for large sample. It is relatively difficult operations experience required for the cantilever replacement, etc. Now the white light interferometer. So we can see here the diagram for this interferometer. In earlier section we studied this interferometer and the principle that is used for the measurement of flatness. So that interferometer we can use for checking the surface roughness also. Light interference occurs when there is a difference in distance traveled by the light from the surface of a target object to a certain point. That is the concept of interference. The white light interferometer uses this phenomena to measure the surface roughness of a sample. The figure on the right, this figure, is a structural diagram of an interferometer. The light emitted from the source, that is semiconductor or laser, is separated into reference and the measurement beam. While the reference beam is passed to the reference mirror here through a half mirror, the measurement beam is reflected and guided to the sample surface. The pass beam is reflected by the reference mirror to a CCD image sensor, and then it forms an interference pattern. The other beam is reflected off the sample surface, passes the half mirror, and then form an image at the CCD image sensor. So this white light interferometer is designed so that the optical path length from the CCD element to the reference mirror and that from the CCD element to the sample surface are the same. The asperity on the sample surface causes these path lengths to be unequal, which results in forming an interference pattern at the CCD element. The number of lines in the interference pattern is translated to the peaks and the truth that it hides on the sample surface, peaks and valleys. Now you can see here on the right side, when there is a perfect flat surface or when there is no surface irregularities, will get this type of view. But when there is some surface irregularities, we will get this type of interference pattern, and from that we can find out the surface roughness. What is the advantages? It is capable of measuring a wide field of view. The measurement in sub-nanometer range is also possible. The quick measurement. So these are some advantages. Nowadays, all the instruments are used for the ultra precision measurement. What is the disadvantages? No or limited angular characteristics. Use is limited on certain object only. Measurement may also not be possible when there is a significant difference between the light reflected from the reference mirror and that reflected from the object. It requires some tilt correction. Low resolution for XY stage measurement. It is sensitive to vibration. So these are some disadvantages of the white light interferometer. Now the last one is a 3D laser scanning microscope. You can see the image of this microscope on right sides. So the objective lens, then the observed target object, half mirror is here, half mirror, second half mirror, third half mirror. Here the light receiving element, that is photodiode or photomultiplier. Here the CCD camera, light source, here is the light source, and all this is XY light source is here. Okay. So we'll see the detail. The laser beam emitted from the laser source passes the XY scanning optical system and scans the sample surface. Here light comes, okay, then it goes to in this direction, again come back here, then it go back here and then here. Laser light receiving elements detect the reflection information of the position in the focus of the confocal optical system. A confocal image is created by accumulating the in focus position information in the Z direction. At the same time, by memorizing the objective lens position for the in focus position, the laser scanning microscope measures the 3D profile of the surface. So it is the combination of optomechanical. So main 90% part is the optical. The advantages: for the depth of focus, target object can be observed in color. It produces 3D profiles. Also it gives the color 3D images, which is useful for analyzing the data. It can measure the film thickness of a translucent object such as resist for the semiconductor fabrication. Its analysis in atmospheric condition is possible. It not need any pre-treatment of the sample. No limitation on sample size or the material. Easy operation makes for excellent general purpose use. Now the disadvantages: it is incapable of high definition observation and high precision measurement. Below 1 nanometer we cannot measure the surface roughness. The information of the surface of the sample that do not receive laser beam emission, such as the sides, cannot be acquired. Again, it is incapable of measuring the materials that absorb the laser beam wavelength. So this is the main disadvantage. So here we'll stop for the surface roughness measuring instrument. Thank you.